Did you bring the sample of it tonight as well? Is it up top in the box or no?
I might have in my bag up there if I can.
Cool.
If you're willing.
Well, while that gets retrieved, so how did your ideas about perception?
Oh, thanks.
Oh, great.
What?
How did do you think there was an evolution in your ideas of perception and the possibilities of perception over the years?
Oh, perception itself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, well, I guess I'd hope so. Yeah, I you know, how do you know? This is a batch of cards here. I had them at one of my screenings the other night, and people admired the box that I made, which is a little bit grotesque. I'm impressed anybody would admire that. We didn't see this film tonight, I guess. This is part of which one, I even forget. But anyhow, these are the cards, 4 by 6. And this is a sequence on the cards. And I guess I can show you how I could see what I was doing. I mean, this goes back to flip books. I don't know how well you can see some of this, but and I tend to, as you've seen my films, they tend to be sequences are broken up in different ways, and so anyhow, so that's just a sample. There's how long it takes me to flip this would be about 24 frames a second, and so that sequence is about that long. And to make one of my films, of course, I recycle the images also. Try not to be too efficient, but there are about 2,000 of these per 5-minute film. You know, there's no many more, and so I was able to. I don't know. Here I maybe have 100 of them here. And shoot a sequence, and then have to send the film off. And now these days you don't have to do that. So, and I'd have to wait a week before I could see what I'd done, and then adjust accordingly. Yeah, so it's pretty simple.
Pardon?
Is that 1 card per frame?
Was it one card per frame?
Oh, well, that's arbitrary. I mean, I could hold some for 24 frames, which is only a second. You know, or a 24th of a frame if I chose. And that, of course, is what I played with, which got me some attention because I made radical mixes that way.
Now, you mentioned that you said you quit painting at some point then?
Oh, yeah, I quit painting way back in the 50s.
And why was that? Why did animation just completely replace that need for you?
Yeah, I thought I could make a living making animated films, and I found out later I couldn't. But my kind of film. Well, painting, I was part of an orthodoxy of painting, hard edge abstraction as opposed to what were the other things called? I don't know. Pejorative terms for paintings, you know, like cubism was pejorative, meant to be. Anyhow, I had a gallery in Paris, but I fell in with Jean Tinguely, who's a friend, and Tinguely, I don't know how you, the guy who made motorized sculptures and things. And I started making, playing with rotoscopes as sculptural objects. And a rotoscope is a hand crank, you know, it's an ancient device. It's this kind of thing, but made into a sculpture, if you like, and then with a hand crank turning it. And, so I saw the possibilities of being involved in the art world with this kind of thing. And what the big breakthrough for me was dreaming up things that I call floats, which you asked me if I had one here. Even if I did, I couldn't demonstrate it. But the sculptures that were motorized and moved very, very quietly, that became a big preoccupation with me, and that got me into the gallery system. Anyhow, a little bit. The so-called underground film business was very bad business.
At least some things never change.
Huh?
At least some things never change.
Yeah, yeah. They're wonderful filmmakers. You, Kenneth Anger's here tomorrow night. I guess you go see his stuff.
He's at Red Cat
but
tomorrow.
none of us could survive just doing that. I ended up teaching.
Questions, please?
I had two questions on guys and, girls and boys. Boys and girls?
Girls and boys.
Girls and
yeah.
boys. First of all, I thought I heard you telling an anecdote about this, the naming of the film, that there was an anecdote behind Girls and Boys.
Oh,
story
I told you a story?
No, I heard, I was sitting here and I was getting up to leave at the break, and then I heard you telling something about it, and I was curious what it was you were saying.
Oh, I don't know. Of course, the title, that was in Rhode Island. I ended up living on a little island, Block Island, out in the ocean. And so that film contains images from that area, gulls and boys. Those are the names, boys and girls, in the bathrooms in a local restaurant. You know, Rhode Island, they love puns, and so I just got that from them. Do you know that about Rhode Island? They have these corny puns on everything. I don't know why. No offense. I mean, I think it's wonderful, very fresh. So that produced the title for me. And otherwise, it's been noticed that I incorporate my kids in my films, and sometimes dedicated films to them. And then I see things that, of course, were shocking in the old days, naked bodies and other allusions to sexuality that, you know, this country is so prudish. When I started doing that kind of thing, it had some repercussions, not really, but.
You just second?
Yeah, second question also on Girls and Boys, but also in general. You mentioned using rotoscopes as sculptural objects.
Oh, okay.
And I was wondering if you also ever
dabbled
with,
Yeah, if you don't, some of you don't know rotoscoping, that term, but anyhow, that's been used, you know, since the beginning of film, which is a question of redrawing live footage. And so those figures and they're dancing or moving around were rotoscoped by me, and kind of luckily a very bad system I had where I couldn't see the image very well. It was blown up to about this format on a ground glass. The live action image I had underneath and was being projected onto this square of glass, and then I could trace the outlines of the bird flying, and I liked the idea. I couldn't see the details, but I could get the general movement, so I'd combine that with a kind of stylization of that I could add to otherwise. Yeah, and that particular film, I guess I've used it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's great how that technique works so well with your drawing style anyway, that comes from the earlier films like The Man and the Dog, and the line, your use of the line really goes so well with the rotoscope technique in that film in particular.
Well, I hope so. Yeah.
From this point, to go further, from the beginning, you've always...
Parler français un peu.
Oui, mais il ne comprendra pas. Ok, je parle français, I'm going to speak French and then translate